Yo, this is Damage Per Second podcast. We are back for the very last show, the very last episode of the year. We are done with 2022. Hopefully 2023 is even better, but we're going to get into it. We got some nice topics for you guys. We're going to have a good going away party, so to speak. Forte. Hello, Forte? You there, bro?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something after just Forte.
No, but just say. I thought you would just say, "What's up, slow mo" or something.
What's up, slow mo? Slow mo.
What's good,
What's
man?
up?
How you been,
Good,
bro?
man.
I feel like I haven't talked to you since the weekend. I think
You haven't talked to me since Scumcast.
yes. Or hopefully you aren't. Go ahead.
No, I was speaking of which, how are you enjoying a working version of Call of Duty?
I haven't had a crash yet. Thank you. Okay, to let for the chat to know. So Forte owned up that he was not going to beat me with what number of games beat in 2022, and he gave me what he owed me, which was a full price game a little early. I wanted a working version of Call of Duty, which there aren't many of them. And my Steam version definitely was not working, so I wanted the Battle.net version of Call of Duty. Forte eventually came through. But yeah, I'm really happy. I haven't got a chance to play it too much because I've been playing a bunch of stuff. I've been trying to finish some games, which I did finish one of them today. I'll get into it later, but we're trying to finish some games before the new year starts. But I probably played about a good 5 or 6 hours of Modern Warfare 2 since installing the Battle.net version, and I have not had a single crash yet. So appreciate that, bro. Appreciate
You're giving everybody the broken version of the game and keeping the best for themselves.
Exactly, right? Let me shout out some people in the chat. Let's shout out to Bunty, first person here. Appreciate you, bro. Arodimus, what's up, man? Arcade 4247, Capono. Congratulations, Capono, for building his first PC. Ain't it a wonderful feeling, Capono, when you first build your PC? I know, man. I know that feeling. He said he gave both his consoles to the kids. That's right. Give them toys to the children. You know what I'm saying? We big boys out here. Shout out to Jay the Destroyer, Mike Lowry in the house, Texas, Rob the Don, and yeah, man, I'll be seeing more people coming through. Appreciate you guys for joining us on the last show of the year. Forte, what you been up to? What you been playing?
Man, so I went back and played some more High on Life. Did that.
Okay.
That was really cool. I progressed a little bit more in God of War. I just need to hurry up and get done with this game before I come back to Twitter and get spoiled for the other parts that I didn't get a chance to play.
Oh man, you decided to play High on Life before finishing God of War. Interesting.
Well, there's some things about God of War where I'm like, some questionable decisions in the pacing of this game that I have a problem with, but for the most part I still really enjoy it. But there's some things about this game that I'm like, the part one 2018 definitely was the game of the year game versus the 2022 version.
Interesting. So because I feel like
as of right now.
Okay, where are you in Ragnarok?
I am. Do you want to spoil?
It's been out for like a little over a month.
We'll talk after the show.
All right. Okay, next year we spoiling. We talking about Ragnarok like it's 5 years old.
Yeah, first episode of 2022. We'll talk about Ragnarok.
Yeah. So like first episode 22, we'll get into a nice little discussion about that. So High on Life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hold. Yeah.
I know we got a topic.
Hold the impressions because we got a topic for it. I also got some smoke for some people.
Yeah, I love slow-mo. Slow-mo put up smoke signals, and I love it.
There's been a lot of capping going on out here. Okay. But hold on a second, my daughter's here.
Hey, daughter. So what's
No, okay, I'm good. I'm good. Um,
okay?
no, I've been playing. So today I beat The Devil in Me, which is the latest dark picture game in the anthology by
Devil in me.
Supermassive. Yeah,
How you like it?
it's the worst of the anthology.
I was. That's what you know. What and that's what my daughter told me because she played. Cause I bought it for her birthday on November. Well, I bought it for it didn't come out after, but I bought it for her birthday and she played. She said, "Dad, this is the worst one. Or is Supermassive losing their touch?" I was like, "Babe," I said, "Listen, it could just be the fact that." They're running out of ideas for these dark picture games, and the story elements aren't as compelling as it was. I said, because when you keep on adding on to the narrative, you kind of lose your place in certain places. I just think they might need to rethink some of the direction a little bit because she just didn't like the pacing orders. She really didn't like the characters.
The characters are very boring. The
Yeah, she really
pacing
did not
is
like the core.
terrible. The
Yeah,
pacing,
she hated it.
the first 2 hours, absolutely okay. Barely any, like maybe something happens in the first 5 minutes, and then nothing happens for the next 2 hours. But my biggest issues with it is there was a ton of bugs, and I said this a couple years ago when they announced, but actually more than a couple years ago, probably about in 2019, that I was concerned that Supermassive was falling into a bad management decision, something that Telltale had done, where they were like basically doing too many simultaneous projects all at once and not really spending enough time with the games they were making to make them truly quality. And even though Telltale still had like some really like great stories and high quality content, like I think with Supermassive it's just getting worse and worse. They dropped 2 games this year and both of them stink. The Quarry stinks. And The Devil in Me is even worse. Forte, out of the 5 main characters in this game, one of them, his name is Charlie. It's like they made his face like it's like Naughty Dog did his face. Like you can see he's an older man, he's an older gentleman. You can see the crevices, the peach fuzz, all this detail in Charlie's face. All the other characters, they look like Ubisoft made them. So it's like, what? Like, why is all the detail in Charlie's face, but no detail in Mark and Aaron and any of them? None of them have any detail in their faces, but him. It's just ridiculous. The ray tracing mode on PC is worthless. There is almost no difference whatsoever with ray tracing off. I don't know where the ray tracing is. I can't tell. The only thing I will say about it is that sound design is really good, because like maybe like in the middle of the game, like 50% of the game, you're in this house that's like a death trap. And it's like the sound in the background, you literally hear everything. You're hearing like footsteps, you're hearing like doors creaking, you're hearing all kinds of stuff that's like making you like jump and things, and there's like that eerie kind of like horror music stuff going on too. They really nailed the sound design, but everything else stinks. 2 of my characters died because the game bugged out on the QTE. I ended up having all my characters die because like near the end I just didn't care no more. And I could have, like, even if you get to the point where you mess up so much that like it's just like, man, I'm about to, man, now I'm about to like start spoiling things. So let me not talk that far, but just like I had the choice to save 2 people, and I was just like, nah, Buffett, they could all die. I was just done. I just wanted to end the game. It just wasn't enjoyable, and I used to always kind of be like, even when I didn't like one, like I didn't like Little Hope, but House of Ashes was coming out the very next year, and I'm like, I'm still gonna play it. I actually really liked House of Ashes. After this year, I'm on a wait and see with Supermassive, because their stuff is just like, it's not good anymore. They're not taking the time to make it quality. It's all about quantity for them, and it's just that's a no for me. So I did beat it. I'm probably about
Beat it.
yeah, I did beat it. I knocked it out. So I got a total of 29 games beat this year, but 25 that were over our little a minimum 5-hour thing, right?
Nice.
Rob says, did you do a lunchtime with slow mo to play bad games? Nah, man, I'm good.
God dang.
I'm not doing lunchtime with slow mo to play the devil. I actually was trying to stream my entire first playthrough the way I streamed my whole first playthrough of the Quarry, and nah, I just said, you know what? It's so bad.
Couldn't do it.
That I'm not going to subject y'all to watch me just complain about this game for another like 6 hours. So I was just like, we're good. We're just not going to. I'm just not going to stream it no more. So, but I have been playing Grounded with my friends. That's the footage you see here. Now, honestly, I have to give it to my friends have done the majority of all the stuff you see built, like the zip lines connecting all of our bases. They built all that stuff. Like I didn't build that. Every time I come in a game, I'm like, "What's this? What's that? What is happening?" They be like, "Hey man, put on this acorn armor." Nah, then I come back. Nah, the acorn armor too weak. Put on this other armor. I'm like, all right, like
acorn armor.
I'm at this point. I'm just like, yo. So when we beating the game, because they seem like y'all just building stuff. They like that now. They got their own penthouses. Everybody got a penthouse. They like, man, slow mo. You gotta build your penthouse. I'm like, man, I ain't building no penthouse, man. I'm just like, can we finish the game? Is what I want to know.
They telling you, man.
Rob Johnson, whose gameplay of Grounded is this? Your friends built it. This is my gameplay. It's our shared world. I did contribute a little bit to it, but not clearly not all this stuff. Like all this stuff is the buddies. Shout out to my homies. They're holding it down, man. They want to go kill praying mantis now or something. I think it's praying mantis they want to go kill next. I'm like, all right, man. Let me know when y'all getting on, and I'll jump in and contribute some damage to it a little bit. But no, I've been playing this. I've been playing Call of Duty, of course. I've come back to Halo. I've been playing Halo. Trying to get other people to come back. Ain't nobody trying to come back with me. It's cool. But like Fortnite, of course, Fortnite too. Getting some wins in Fortnite. I got some footage of the wins. But I'm just enjoying myself. Chained Echoes. Chained Echoes is so good, yo. I love me some Chained Echoes. It's like playing Chrono Trigger, man. It's so good. I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. But I guess we can. Oh, real quick. I did want to say this for next year. So we're making some changes to the podcast for next year. We probably like things like an updated thumbnail. Might have some aesthetic changes here and there. We gonna work on some things, right? But I did want to kind of poll the audience of, and then like if you're watching this on the replay, put it in the comment section. But like, what guests do you want to see on DPS next year? Because we do guests every now and then, and all of our guests are high quality people, of course. Like that's never in question. But like, I do want to kind of like switch it up, and it's something that we and Forte discuss frequently about like who we may want to bring on, but I don't think we've ever brought that question to the audience. So who would you guys want to see on, I guess? And you guys can say it in the comment section. Robin says Sarah Bond. I would love to have Sarah Bond on. I would too. That would be great. I don't know if her DMs is open. Like, I just jump in the DM and be like, hey, you want to join us on the podcast one day? I don't know.
Rodham seemed to have an inside track to that, man. I don't know what he waiting for.
Mike Lowry says Jim Ryan. I don't think Jim Ryan even has a Twitter account, but like, what? David,
not a real one at least.
Yeah, Snow. King Thrash is high quality. Oh, that rules. Oh, get the Thrash. Stop it.
Thrash?
Yeah, and he says Chained Echoes is fire. See, Thrash has good taste in games. Of course he knows where the fire RPGs are. No thrash. You better cut it out, man.
Said that rules me out. Listen, man. Listen. Anytime we can put your bars up on DPS, man, it's always a good time, man. So you always welcome.
Absolutely. Addict says supposed to play Fortnite. What? Oh, Addict. Okay, So all right, this is what happened. This is what Addict's talking about. It was a Saturday, I think. He was live, and I jumped in the chat, said what's up. I think King was supposed to come through, and I think they were supposed to play Fall Guys, I think, but then they were going to switch to Fortnite. I was playing Road Company, and he was like, "Slow Mo, you want to come through?" I was like, "Bet, let me finish this match, and I'm gonna join you guys." And before I could finish the match, my wife hits me up, asking me to do a whole bunch of crap, and I'm like, "Dang." I was like, "Yo, when you want this, when you want me to take care of this, you gotta, handle business." She's like, "Can you do it now?" I'm like, "All right." So I hit Addict in the chat. I'm like, "I can't make it. Something just came up." Addict's like hit me with all kinds of shame and grief. Oh, you can't.
He tried to hit me earlier today because he called me while I was still at work, and I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Dang, man, you sound like you." He said, "You sound like you don't want to talk." I say, "No, I'm at work. What's up?" He was like, "I just wanted to know if you wanted to play Fortnite." I was like, "Yeah, I'll play Fortnite with you. I'll call you back." And then I was like, I ended up not leaving work till 8:00, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" Then you just saw Addict. I was like, "Oh Lord." So Addict, we could play Fortnite tonight, man. After the podcast, if you still want to play.
See, there you go, Addict. You got it.
We'll play some Fortnite with you later.
But no, yeah. Just whether it's in the comments after the show, or I'll write everyone's name down as they come up. Whoever you guys want us to bring on, just let us know, and we'll get it done. Well, at least we'll try to get it done. I don't know about Sarah Bond and Jim Ryan. They might be a little bit hard to get, but we'll figure it out.
I don't know, man. You never know. Sarah Bond can always come. Well, you never know.
Yeah, and Alex says he shared the show on Twitter. Appreciate you, Alex. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, bro.
But I guess we can go ahead and get into these topics, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the first topic of the evening is about AMD. So check this out. So AMD, I've tried, right? I know some people tried to call me an NVIDIA fanboy just because I've never had an AMD product, but I want to give AMD a shot. But AMD keep messing up, man. And they and one of the ways they messed up this time is they lied about the performance of RDNA 3. And so for those who aren't too familiar with the whole GPU thing, is that RDNA 3 is a particular architecture. Your consoles are on RDNA 2 architecture, but RDNA 3 is the latest GPUs that AMD have come out with on PC. And they have said, let me find it exactly what all the actual stats here, but they had said that RDNA, in their announcement for RDNA 3, they said that the 7900 XTX is up to 70% faster than the 6950 XT, which is their previous fastest GPU. And then they later came out with a review guide that revealed that it was actually 45%. Mm-hmm. But then all of the review data from independent reviewers, which is why I always tell people, don't let these companies tell you what their performance is. Wait until people like Hardware Unboxed, who's awesome, I always recommend them, or Gamer Nexus, or even Linus Tech Tips, even though sometimes he makes mistakes. Bitwit, Paul
apologize for his mistakes.
He will. Paul's Hardware. Those guys, let them come out with their independent testing, because all the reason why these people are popular is because of their reputation. And when you're reputable, and people know you're not going to lie to them, or you're not a shill for a corporation, they're going to rely on you more than they rely on someone who has something to sell you. You're right. So when those reviewers, they had a 32 to 40% average of the difference between the 7900 XT and the 6950 XT. And so basically AMD lied. Now, Forte, what are your thoughts on this?
Listen, man, I always tell people, the first thing I always tell people is, the moment you believe specs and numbers before you believe the overall hardware that's sitting in front of you and you try it for yourself, you already lost the battle. People get blown away by all of these metrics that they put out there, that NVIDIA comes out with and AMD comes out with. It's even when AMD, when it comes to their CPUs, and Intel, when it comes out with their stuff, I always say, yeah, that looks really good if it actually hits, it supports what they're saying it does. And normally I just wait until, like you said, reputable people get their hands on it. And trust me, you're gonna know if it's good or not. So when think about it, so when the 4000 series came out from NVIDIA, people was like, yeah, this looks really good. And then when the reviews and the samples came out, people were like, yo, this is really good. And then it also came out to be about the thing with the 4080, and we were like, yo, 4080 is basically a 4070, you know, dressed up to look all cute for an extra $300. And you ended up seeing that they rolled that thing back because they wasn't about to get over on people. And that's kind of the thing I always try to tell people is like, listen, just because they tell you something is good, you got to wait until you actually see it for yourself, right, in order to know, partake in buying these simple things. Because there's people that went out on day one and purchased this stuff,
right,
and they're going to be super freaking disappointed when they're not getting that extra uptip that they normally get. Like,
I will say this though, if you jumped out there off of AMD's promises, off of AMD's word, and bought this day one without looking at independent reviews, those independent reviews came out like a few days before the card was available. So like I would say you do have to somewhat take the blame for not doing your due research ahead of time before purchasing it. I always, like, anything that I buy, I even like I upgraded to a 3080 Ti, which is 2 years old, but still it was brand new. They were still selling them. This was before the launch of all the new cards came out. Even then, I was looking at like benchmarks of what the 3080 Ti is doing right now compared to other cards on the market. And so just because I wanted to make sure that like this card was going to do, even though I already kind of knew it was going to do everything that I needed to do, just want to make sure, right? And so like you definitely need to do your own research. But in addition to them lying, I also kind of feel like, so AMD has lost market share in the past like 2 years. They since Intel has jumped into the GPU market with the Arc GPUs, those are really kind of just like mid-range GPUs. They aren't high-end stuff at all, but it's gotten Intel 5% market share. They didn't take that from NVIDIA, they took that from AMD.
Sure did.
AMD had 10%. Now they had 15%. Wait, hold up. I can't remember what they had.
That's just to think about that number. But, so even if it's 20%, it's still so low.
I can't remember what AMD had. No, wait, yes, they had 15%.
Now they have.
15%. Now they got 10%, and AMD and Intel has 5%, and freaking NVIDIA has gained market. They're at 85%. It's just like you have the opportunity. Everyone knows that NVIDIA's GPUs are overpriced. You have the opportunity to undercut them in price and still be at least comparable in performance. Like, there are two cards they just dropped that are $1,100 and $1,000. That 7900 XT is mad overpriced. It's just as bad as the 4080. And it's like, you could have made that like $600, $700. You could have made the 7900 XTX like $800, and you would have been mopping up
They don't wanna lose
Nvidia.
no money though.
But would you? I mean, we don't know what their margins are. I don't know if they really would be losing money.
They probably wouldn't be, but you know.
Either
with
way,
you.
I just think that like they're messing up. When you lack market share and you have the opportunity to try to take advantage of mistakes that your competition is making, take those chances. Instead, you decide to just, well, you know, let's go ahead and just go right up under. We're gonna overprice our stuff too, but we're gonna be just a little bit cheaper. Like, no, like people just look at you like you're doing the same thing the competition does. So whatever. Like, I didn't want to hop on it for too long, but that's AMD. I think a lot of people were going to give them a shot this time around, legitly, because there's been a lot of PC gamers that always say, I would love to give AMD a shot, but, and then they come up with every excuse in the world to just go back to Nvidia. But I think there were a lot of people who were legit really going to give them a shot this time around, and they kind of screwed the pooch there. Anything else you want to say about this before we move on to this whole DualSense battery stuff?
No, I mean, like I said, the biggest thing is whenever they RDNA 2, 3, you know, even when they were doing RTX for NVIDIA, these are all just buzzwords for whatever feature they're trying to push out at the moment. And usually never the first iteration goes the way that they wanted to go. See the 2000 series for NVIDIA, where ray tracing was, it was like the main focus, but it was pretty much the afterthought. Because so RDNA 3 is going to definitely at some point live up to the expectations of what AMD wants it to live up to, but never look for the first iteration of that to be the ground. Just look at that as the ground floor. And that's why I always tell people when they're doing something new, unless you're, and I know how a lot of people want to be the first one through the door and say, oh, I got this new thing. All you're doing is being a test dummy for all of these corporations, just like the people that bought Xbox Series X's and PS5s on day one. We were the test bed to get whatever the working version of these systems. You know, remember PlayStation 5s, HDMI's being broke on it, Xboxes supposedly overheating and stuff like that. You don't really hear that stuff. You don't really hear about that stuff no more, really, because all that stuff has kind of been worked itself out, of course, over the course of the pandemic. It's the same thing with these graphics cards when these companies are talking about these different features and stuff. It's just to get you excited. It's just like when PlayStation puts 8K on the side of a box where the only 8K thing is a texture inside of a photo booth that you can actually, it's like, but guess what, the PlayStation can do 8K. And I'm like, okay, sure, maybe the
you ain't gonna play a single 8K game on that.
Single 8K game on that thing. But you know what? That's something that all these companies do. Xbox plays. Nintendo talks about how their system can be played anywhere you go, but you ain't gonna play it outside in the rain because guess what? It's not waterproof. But it is what it is. But no, that's it, man. That's all I got to say on it.
But cool. I think we're done with this topic. Let's move on to DualSense, okay?
This stupid thing, but go ahead.
Oh man, so the DualSense Edge controller has had I think it's The Verge that had hand-on impressions of the DualSense Edge controller. And so for those that weren't quite familiar with the Edge, Edge controller is the premium controller for Sony PlayStation. It's the official PlayStation controller that is of premium quality. It's got a lot of the same features that you see from like the Xbox Elite controller. You're looking at like the ability with 3 pressure trigger locks, so that if you want to kind of like change how much pressure you need to put onto your triggers in order to get the same effect, or maybe shorten the amount of time it takes to actually like shoot a gun or pull a bow and arrow or whatever, that's there. It's got profiles. You can save profiles. You can remap your buttons, save a profile for particular games. A lot of the same stuff that the Elite controller has, it also has that, in addition to the DualSense features, the haptic feedback, and all the extra stuff that with the DualSense controller that people enjoy. So all that's there. A particular part of this, so like I think it's funny because it's like there's this one particular part of the impressions that like people seem to have ignored, like all the detail this guy had. The guy with the Verge only had his hands on it for 2 hours. He did speak to the engineers at Sony about the battery life, because we all know the DualSense, regular DualSense controller battery life ain't great. So he only had it for 2 hours, so he couldn't test it for himself. But he did say that Sony told him that the DualSense controller's battery life was moderately shorter than the battery life for the regular DualSense. So the Edge is moderately shorter, and that has caused a ton of drama and anger and angst in the gaming community. Before we get into this discussion, let's lay some things out. We do not know the exact average battery life for this controller. No one knows that. So anyone who has numbers 3 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 40 seconds, that's not true. Okay, we don't know yet. We're not going to know until next month, when people can actually review this controller for themselves and tell you what the battery life is. And we also definitely won't know until it's like people start buying them, they get their hands on them, and then they're like, yeah man, I'm playing blah blah blah, it's like this. Now Forte, what are your thoughts on this?
How much is this controller?
$200.
$200. Okay.
200 US American.
200 US American. Now, I'm not going to try to say that this controller isn't moderately better in feature set when it comes to the Xbox Series 2 controller. Because the Series 2 controller is what, 179?
Yeah, 175 roughly, yeah.
Yeah, 175. You could probably find it on sale a lot cheaper.
It's on sale all the time for like 150.
But
yeah,
regular price on that thing is 179, which is a $20 delta on that controller. That Series X controller does come with a pretty decent size rechargeable battery in it. My Elite controller, I probably, if I could go 8, 9, maybe 10 hours on that controller and not even have to charge it. I could go days without charging that controller, and it just keeps going. Now, we do know that this
I got something to share. I have never ever used my Elite controller wireless. Never.
Why?
Because I use it with my PC.
So you just leave it plugged in?
Yeah.
Well,
I have a extra long pause. USB-C, the USB-C that connects to it too.
Long one too. It comes with a 10-foot one.
Hey man, we get some long johns out here. Anyway, look, no. I use that because look, I play a lot of shooters, right? I don't want no latency.
You don't want no latency.
I mean, like, you got latency, but I want as minimum amount of latency as possible. So
you don't even know how long that battery lasts.
I have zero idea how long the Elite controller battery lasts.
It's a long time, bro.
So even if I was going to get a DualSense Edge, I more than likely wouldn't
always have it plugged in.
Yeah. And I don't always have my DualSense with my PS5 plugged in, but if I was going to get this kind of controller, right?
Tell you the better controller to get.
Hold on. If I was going to get this kind of controller, I'm probably going to like want to play like stuff like competitive.
Right.
And if I'm doing all that, like I'm going to plug that in. I'm going to plug it in to my PS5 and have, like I got a like a 500 foot, a braided USB-C cable I can connect to it and do that with. I don't play competitively, like games competitively on PlayStation like that anyway. Like I don't, so like everything I play on there is like Sony exclusives, and they, as of now, don't have anything like that. They probably will in the future. Actually, not probably. They got a dozen multiplayer games coming out soon, so of course they got games like that coming. But like I just don't see the need of it right now. That said, the moderately shorter battery life for a controller that's already has short battery life. That's not good. No one wants to hear that. So really, this is my thought. I think that you really have to weigh what you value, right? Is it worth it to you? And of course, people are going to need to, as I said before in the last topic, watch reviews, see what they say, trusted reviews, of course, and then kind of look at the hardware and be like, do I need this or not? Because and then you'll be able to make an informed decision, and then a decision that hopefully that once you get the actual product, you don't feel like, man, I just got taken to the cleaners for this $200 controller. I could have kept the regular DualSense. So that's like what, $80?
$80.
Yeah.
And that's the thing for me, because let me ask you this: who is this controller marketed towards, Lomo?
I would say the hardcore gamer, the hardcore competitive kind of gamer. And look, there are a lot of guys just like that within the PlayStation ecosystem. I don't know how many they're making. Of course, they're not going to make as many as they make of the regular DualSense controller. That would be silly of Sony. But I think that like this is going to sell out. Whatever number of controller DualSense Edges they're making, it ain't gonna be enough.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
When you play with your Elite controller, do you have Rumble turned on?
No, absolutely. Because hold on. Let me go back.
Go ahead.
It depends on the game.
I agree with that, but go ahead.
Because if it's for example, I just finished playing The Devil in Me. I think, actually, I don't even remember, but okay, that's a bad example. If it's a game like that's like action adventure, yeah, I'll have the Rumble. Like, okay, I'm playing Miles Morales on PC. I have the Rumble on, but that's I'm using the DualSense while I play that. I use the DualSense while I play the PlayStation games on PC. I don't know, any kind of action adventure game, yeah, I'll have the Rumble on. When I'm playing a shooter, when I'm playing Fortnite, when I'm playing Rogue Company, when I'm playing Modern Warfare 2 or Halo Infinite, all that's turned off. I don't want nothing that could potentially throw off my aim. I want every advantage I could possibly get. That's not cheating, of course. So like I turn that stuff off. So it depends on the game.
Yeah, and the thing for me is, okay, so for me, it ultimately comes down to the type of gamer you are and how you feel about this controller. I think I'm happy that they're doing it because they needed to come out with their own pro style custom controller that you can, be able to take advantage of, like more of the back buttons than the face buttons. I think. Yeah,
you got the paddles. You got the ability to. If you develop stops. If you develop stick drift, you can take that out and just get a new one. I think that's awesome. That's
awesome.
Xbox Elite 3.0 needs to have that option somehow. They need to figure that out. I know they got off asymmetrical thumbsticks. They need to figure. It's easier for the DualSense because they're both at the bottom, so they just create like this little way to just pop that out. Xbox got to figure it out somehow.
I just feel like for the price that you're paying for that controller is like you said, I don't mind them still having the rumble functionality and all the haptic stuff in the controller. I just feel like this controller is more geared towards the people that won't use that feature than the people that will use that feature. Like it's good to have it. It's good to have it as a feature, I think. But I think if you're going to have it as a feature, I think it needs to be complementary to the other things you have, like a better battery life in the controller. You know, because I think because if I'm looking at this controller slow-mo, if I'm a person that's picking it up, the first thing I'm doing is turning off the haptics, because most of the games that I'm playing with this controller, I'm not even going to use the haptic. It could just be a happy, like this really cool feature that I have, that if I want to play with this controller, I'll do it. And the reason the thing is, it feels like they didn't want to go above $200, because I feel like if they would have went up $20 more to $220 and gave it just a better battery, this controller would be freaking amazing. Because and when the reason I contrast that is they have another competitor in their same market in the Razer Wolverine wireless controller, and that one has an amazing battery on it.
But it's Razer.
But Razer had that Razer controller is awesome.
It's Razer though.
But that Razer controller is awesome. I will
never get Razer for any. I'm
slow-mo.
If I'm a hater of any company, it's Razer.
I know you hate Razer, but
trash.
But guess what Razer did? Razer came in with a Wolverine Pro controller, wireless, for $250 with an amazing battery life. Yeah, it's ridiculous. $250, but you know how many of those things I done slow-mo? Because it came to the market before the Edge controller came out.
Too many.
There's people,
if it was one, it's too many.
No, I think I got a case of them in, probably 15 of them, like when it first came out, and I think I have like 3 left. And people are just dropping $250 on it because
12 people who got way too much money.
Yeah,
and far too little consumer sense. I'm sorry, Razer's awful.
I even took a picture. I even took a picture of that controller and I posted it on Twitter. I was like, I really like this controller because and for me, you know, the reason that I prefer Xbox controllers because the offset thumbsticks.
Right.
And the Razer has offset thumbsticks. And I was like, yo, I said on Twitter, I said I would really buy this controller.
That's why people bought it. Because it's got offset thumbsticks.
That might be.
I bet you if Sony would make a alternate controller, let's say they made like an alternate Edge controller that had, let's say they inverted the colors and then they made it asymmetrical, that would sell out on PlayStation.
Oh, it would, because I would buy that as a regular controller for PlayStation.
Absolutely, I would too. But I think that they would never do that because the symmetrical thumbsticks is like a tradition.
It's a traditional calling card at this point.
Right. It's just that's like Xbox going symmetrical. That's like never going to happen. So it's just, you're only going to get that third party.
They'll lose their whole fan base if that happens.
Right. Yeah. I think the only reason people bought that Razer controller is because, forget the battery life, it's because it's asymmetrical thumbsticks.
No. I think I agree. I think that's the main reason. But it just ultimately, to me, it goes back to the thought process that people want. Like the first thing that would go in those type of controllers is the haptics, and I agree. I love the fact that they're adding the haptics, but I just think if you're going to add the haptics into a pro level tournament style controller, because as much as they want to say this controller is for anybody to use in any situation in any game, if you're buying a $200 controller with trigger stops on it, with replaceable thumbsticks and grips, and back buttons on the paddles, you're buying it because you're predominantly going to be playing competitive games, or you'll be playing shooters to the point where you want to really take advantage of that. And people that play like that, 90%, well, I don't know a number, but it's a good amount of them that don't even have the haptics turned on. So if you're going to make that a main feature of the controller, the battery life of the controller should be one of the main focuses, and then you should complement that by adding the haptics. And maybe as much as people don't want to spend more money, I will spend more money to have haptic feedback and all the haptics that the original DualSense have in a pro style controller like that, if they don't skip on features that really matter the most, which is battery life. And that's the one thing that's always been going on. But ultimately, it's really not going to matter, Slow-Mo, because they know they're going to sell this controller like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna sell out like crazy.
Right? Yeah, they're going to sell like crazy, and people going to just be look. The PlayStation 4 controller was atrocious in battery, and guess what? It was only the most sold console, like the second most console of all time sold. So, well, actually, it's third now, isn't it? Behind the Switch, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's
PlayStation
third.
PlayStation only held that title for 1 year, and then Switch came through.
Shout out to RRD with the $2 Canadian. He says, insulting Xbox for AA's, but saying this is okay equals L.
Well, I don't know about AA batteries no more, sir, because I play with an Elite controller, and that thing has a rechargeable battery.
That is also true. That's another benefit to the Elite. My son has a Series S, so he's got the rechargeable though. He's got the in the loop Pro rechargeable batteries. So he's got like, it comes with 4 batteries. So he puts 2 in, the others are on the charger. If his batteries get low, he literally just pauses, pops the 2 out, put the other 2 in, he's good to go. So he doesn't really have any issues, but those last probably about probably a good 20 hours before he needs to switch batteries. So I
good looking controller though, I will say that.
Oh, it's a great looking controller. I think something else that we also need to be like completely fair to Sony about, this is their first version of this. They're gonna have
Xbox's
a 2.0.
First version sucked.
Yeah, the Xbox first version of the Elite. Yeah, don't nobody. Ain't nobody really checking. Yeah. It like, what, durability? The bumpers were defective.
the peeling of the hand grips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those hand grips, like people's like, man, did you drop this in water? Put it in a sauna?
That thing was not built to be treated like a controller. Like,
no,
so, and
terrible.
the two and the Elite 2.0s are better. The bumpers are better, more durable, but I had mine for a year before I had the put in that warranty with Best Buy and replace it, because I got stick drift in my left thumbstick, and the USB port started malfunctioning.
Right.
So I had 2 issues. And the guarantee, when I went and got the replacement, I was like, give me that warranty again. Appreciate you. Like, cause I'm just like, I just know it's probably gonna mess up sometime next year or something. Like, it is what it is, right? So Sony, like, we don't know the durability of this yet. So hopefully it's as durable or better or more durable than the actual regular DualSense. Well, I guess we'll see, right? But either way, I think that battery life concerns are absolutely important, and people have every right to feel somewhat leery of it. But I think that we need to kind of pump the brakes on some of the talk about it, because it's like, if we don't know the exact average battery life, what if it's like 30 minutes less than a DualSense with all the extra features that you get with it? Is that,
I still think that's an L, because I just feel like when you come out with an iteration like that to another controller, you should at least be on par with the original controller. It shouldn't be less. That's the one thing
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Now, granted, because that's the one thing I feel like is the difference between regular Xbox controllers, outside of the fact that they have compartments for AA batteries. But even if you go to the rechargeable batteries that you can buy separately for a regular Xbox controller, the Elite controller is still by itself is a better battery than the rechargeable ones. So even if you say, well, you got AA batteries, I'm like, well, no, if you buy the external, what's the name batteries to recharge yours, even the Elite controller has a better battery than you can buy for your separate one. So at least they iterated and made that a better feature in this new controller. I just don't feel like it should be less than. At least make it on par, but you made it less than. And I'm like, it should not, nothing on a $200 controller should be less than.
I can that part I could definitely agree with. If you're going to, this is your premium product, it seems almost like they basically just have the same battery that the DualSense has. The same.
They did.
And so like if you're going to upgrade everything else, and you got additional features in here that are going to drain the battery a little bit more than what the regular does, yeah, probably go ahead and upgrade the battery in there to actually at least get it on par with what the regular DualSense does. I do agree with that. I can definitely agree with you on that. We can go ahead and move on to our next topic here, which is about Sifu. And Sifu is heading to Xbox.
When did Sifu come out? Was it April last year or was it March?
Sifu was March of last year. So it was a 12-month exclusive because it's coming out this month, I think March 3rd. 23rd. Okay, my bad. March 23rd in 2023 on Xbox and Steam. So it was a timed 1-year exclusive for PlayStation and as well as the Epic Game Store, because that's where I played it. I played Sifu on Epic. On PC. I didn't play it on PlayStation. Awesome game. I freaking love this game. This game I thought should have got more love at the Video Game Awards. It should have been. I would have nominated Sifu or Cult of the Lamb over Stray as the that token indie nominee for Game of the Year. Just because it was that good. But I knew it wasn't going to get it because this game is not an easy game, and it absolutely broke people's egos, broke their pride, and they in turn broke their DualSense controllers because this game is not easy. But I love it. It's an awesome game. Hopefully, I know we'll probably get a lot of play on Steam. Hopefully on Xbox, it gets the same amount of love. First of all, Forte, did you ever play this?
No.
Okay, all right. So
No, I just watched from afar. I do have it on PlayStation. It was just one of the few that I didn't get to.
Okay.
There.
Well, are you going to pick this up on Xbox, or are you just going to eventually play it on PlayStation?
Because I already got it on PlayStation. It's not a game that I'm going to be like, I got to buy this on Xbox because, no, I'm just going to play it on PlayStation when I get time. Cool. Is it going to Game Pass?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to play it on PlayStation. What's better than free slow-mo? Already owning it, right?
Yeah, true. But I just like when you asked if it was going to Game Pass, I got kind of like you notice my no was a little bit more forceful than normal, because I was just like, I am sick and tired of hearing people asking is it going to Game Pass, because it feels like the very next thing is that I'm gonna wait for it to come to Game Pass, which is like, look, if you ain't really interested in the game, fine. Maybe I'll try it out if it comes to a subscription service that I have. Maybe I'll give it a shot at that point. But I'm like, if it wasn't like if there wasn't that subscription service, I probably wasn't gonna buy it, or I would wait to like a deep sale or Black Friday and get it like half off or 80% off or whatever. But it just seemed when people like, man, I can't wait for X game. It ain't going to Game Pass. Oh man, I guess I'll wait. No, what are you waiting for, man? Just, you don't even know if it's going to Game Pass. Just buy the game if you want it. So I'm not. That's a tangent. I'm not saying that's you. No, I
know what you mean.
Yeah, if you like the game and you were interested in the game and it's coming to your platform, buy the game. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, when you do eventually play this, I definitely gotta see you try this out, because this is a game that, like, I think if you are big into fighters, which I used to be back in high school, but I haven't been big on fighters since then. I think this game's a little bit easier for those, but like, not that it's like, it's definitely not like PvP, you know, one-on-one fighting, but some of the same foundations and principles do kind of apply. And it might be a bit easier for you, but for me, it was just like, I was getting my head smacked for a while, and then it kind of just eventually just clicked, and I got through it. But I really enjoyed this one. This is so good. Let's go on the chat. Yeah, we're good. Anything else you want to say about Sifu before we move on?
No, I'm just happy that it is finally, you know, that was the one thing, you know, Xbox gamers were, you know, watching all the PlayStation people talk about the game. It looked fun. I just want, you know what I want to see? I want to see a moment where Xbox gamers play this game that, you know, everybody else got a chance, that, you know, PlayStation got a chance to enjoy it. And I want to see them actually support stuff like this, because guess what? If developers actually see that you support these games, it'll be a little bit easier for Microsoft, you know, to be able to acquire it. It'll be a little bit harder for these other companies to like turn down, you know, this bag that they be getting from PlayStation, because guess what? We all know that PlayStation doesn't have to give a huge bag to get these games, because they're the market leader.
They're the bigger platform.
They're the bigger platform.
So it costs them less.
It costs them less
to get timed exclusives. But if Microsoft was going to get this game timed exclusive, they would have to pay more money, because whatever average sales slow clap the developer was expecting from PlayStation would be more than what they were going to get from Xbox. So you just got to kind of like actually, you know, put up that money, which Microsoft absolutely could do, right?
Yeah,
but
well, it's not even the money that they can put up. It's also about the gamers too. When this game, like when Sifu comes out, if you were interested in this game and if you truly were interested in this game and the only reason you didn't play it is because you didn't have a PlayStation 5 to play it on, you should go out and make sure that you're one of the first people to play this game on the Xbox, or on, well, especially on Xbox, because PC is just going to be PC. But if you're on Xbox, you need to go out and show developers that Xbox gamers are willing to buy games like this and not just talk about playing games like this. Because even if Microsoft doesn't go out and like match the price of what Sony wants to do to keep these games from going exclusive to their platform for like a year to 2 years, it at least will give them cause to pause and be like, well, yeah, PlayStation's giving us a bag, but we have close to 1 million people that we know would buy this game on the Xbox platform, because our sales numbers and sales data prove that. That would make PlayStation have to spend a little more money to either do it, or it may be a little bit too costly for them, and they'll say, you know what, yeah, just leave it as a multi-plat game, and we may do the marketing rights for it instead of it being a game that we actually just have on our platform. But that only happens if people go out and support these games when they finally do come out. So I'm just saying, all these people that said that they would have played it if it was on Xbox, this is your opportunity to do it.
Right.
Not to say that you need to do Microsoft's job and help promote and get games on their platform and stop going exclusive to others, but you have a small part to play in that.
One second about that. Why does that matter to people?
I don't know.
You are the consumer. You are a gamer. Why do you care whether Microsoft gets a game at the same time? Look, if you care because you don't own the other platform that is coming to, and therefore you actually want to make sure like you play a game that you're really interested in at launch, I understand that. But what Rodimus said in the chat just now, I'll repeat, Forte, it's hard to fall in love with a sloppy second. We ain't telling you to have sex with the game, Rodimus. No, we ain't telling you to date the game, Rodimus. We're telling you to play the game if you want to play it. If it's a game that you were interested in, why do you care if it's a quote unquote sloppy second?
But guess what though, Rodimus? That sloppy second got her stuff together. She ain't got no bugs. She ain't got no issues.
True. And you're getting the arena mode.
you're getting all the DLC the day it comes out. So normally in game terms, the sloppy seconds is almost a better version of the game.
Right. You're getting
less money.
Yeah, I think the arena mode is PvP. I didn't double check. I think they probably need to double check that. Let me take a look just real quick.
So you're technically getting more content for the same price that people pay max dollars for on the day that it came out the first time. So I mean, I do agree with you, it is hard to do stuff like that, but if you want games like this to stop skipping Xbox on day one, you got to be more about buying these games whenever you're interested in. Whenever they finally hit your platform, you kind of need to support them, because guess what? Your love
correction.
didn't change.
The arenas mode is not PvP. It will sport 9 stylish new maps, each featuring exclusive new challenges of varying difficulty levels, adding multiple hours of the classic Sifu gameplay fans have come to love. Successfully completing the arenas will progressively unlock a massive new batch of modifiers, which doubles the amount of currently available in-game, and notably brings alternative moves to the Kung Fu palette of our main character. Completing the new arenas challenges will also unlock new cheats and exclusive new outfits. So, I mean, look, that's a lot of new content that will be there at launch on the Xbox that when the PlayStation community and the Epic Game Store community did not have. So
Have those on day one. So this is like a not a new game, but it's an improved game based on what everybody got before. So that's all I really want to say. Just support, like, even like I said, if you were a person that wanted to play this game because you didn't have the platform, this is your opportunity to do it. And there's a lot of people out there like that. But if you think like Erodimus, and we love you, Erodimus, but if you think like that, developers see that in the numbers of the games that sold on that platform. That's why you see JRPGs skipping Xbox altogether, because when they do
it just makes things easier for Sony to get more timed exclusives, because the further this happens, they just go, hey, look, they ain't gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah, so
we got, hey, look, it makes it easier for them to get more timed exclusives, because the amount they have to put down is even less.
It's a lot less.
Because even the people that wanted to play those games thought they were doing something by choosing not to.
Yeah.
So
that's all I got on that. But I do have another question for you before you move on. Diablo 4. Are you going to play it on PC or are you going to play it on console?
Why would I?
I'm just asking, because I'm about to buy it. I'm about to literally buy. Do we know when the beta is? The open beta already going, or is it later?
It's not going yet. I signed up for it. I don't think I'm gonna get in. I never get into betas on Battle.net.
Well, you know, if you buy the game, you get into the early access beta anyway.
That's true.
So I'm literally the money that I saved on your Call of Duty. I'm literally clicking buy right now on the deluxe edition of Diablo 4 because I want to play this game. So
I'm getting it on PC. I'm getting it on Battle.net.
You're gonna be playing so because I think there's no cross. So we're gonna be playing this on PC together.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I'm buying it right now on Battle.net.
Yeah. I'm definitely playing it on PC. I now, when it comes to Blizzard's games or Activision games in general, I will be just getting them on Battle.net from now on. After the whole Call of Duty fiasco, I'm not making that mistake no more.
No more.
After the Steam issue, no sir, no. We going only Battle.net from now on, because the difference in performance as far as bugs and game crashing compared to Steam and Battle.net, it's a drastic difference. So yeah. Okay, we can move on. How life, man?
Yeah.
How let's talk about this for a moment.
Okay.
Let's talk about how How Life it's doing well. I would say that it's doing very well. It is launched in Game Pass, and according to I think Benji Sales, talked about this. Let me just find the information. Benji Sales says that How Life officially is officially a record-breaking launch. It's the biggest Game Pass launch of 2022, which that's probably not the biggest like metric to hit. Like they didn't drop any AAA games. The only the game that was first party that came out and launched in Game Pass is Pentiment. That Pentiment's not the kind of game that's going to be drawing those kind of numbers or whatever, right? But biggest third party Game Pass launch in history, so that's bigger than Scarlet Nexus. Wait, Scarlet Nexus wasn't launched. Sorry, that's bigger. That's bigger than MLB The Show. That's bigger than Outriders. That's bigger than Back for Blood. None of their other.
It's bigger than Outriders.
Yeah, because Outriders was kind of a big deal for them getting that when that came out. And MLB The Show has sold extremely well on Xbox, and it was in Game Pass and launched in Game Pass, and it's bigger than that too. So
better than Sniper Elite 5. Better than Sniper Elite 5 and everything.
Right. It says in biggest single player game launch ever. What? So yeah.
Wait. Ever in
Game Pass,
not third party. Ever, meaning when they say ever,
that's first and third party.
Wait a minute, Halo released in Game Pass.
That's not single player.
Oh, that's true. Wait, oh, single player. We're single player only. Okay.
Yeah, so you're looking at
Halo is both. Okay. I'm about to say, Jesus Christ, that's definitely something wrong.
Was Outer Worlds launching in game? It did, right?
It did.
So that's bigger than Outer Worlds. That's bigger than. It's not bigger than Sea of Thieves. Not bigger than Gears. Those are multiplayer games. So
Gears has multiplayer. That's what I'm thinking. When you said best ever, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. There's some games that dropped in Game Pass, Dave. Forza.
Psychonauts 2. Okay.
Yeah, Psychonauts 2.
So
even better. Yeah, Psychonauts 2.
So I mean, it's not that's impressive, but not. But the way Benji narrowed it down, when you really look at it, it's like it's excluding all of their first party stuff, because all the first party stuff has some form of multiplayer in it, which disqualifies it. So, but regardless, I'm not trying to throw shade. That is for this game, which I don't think anybody expected that kind of launch for this game. That's good. So, congrats to Squanch Games. People are running around here saying Xbox should acquire them. I think that you might want to slow your roll on that. Like, one game isn't enough. I don't think that's enough to decide, yeah, we're going to acquire you. I think, Deathloop didn't launch in Game Pass, Erasmus.
It launched it came out on PlayStation first.
Right, so that's now a launch game. But I just think that we maybe, they partner with Squanch again. They market their next game and get that game into Game Pass. And if that game shows, the same level of enthusiasm and same from the gaming community, as well as improvements off of this game, then you look at potentially acquiring Squanch.
I think people are very what's the word? Very prisoners of the moment, because first they need to finish this Activision Blizzard deal, however the heck that's going to turn out.
Man, that might take years though.
Well, it might take years, but if they're going to purchase anybody before Squanch Game, they should Asobo should be at the top of the list.
Of course, yeah, I agree with that.
Nobody should be. There is no other studio that Microsoft's purchase, that they already got a huge, great relationship with, that they got a 10-year plan with for one of their best-selling games that's on their platform, that they sell peripherals for that cost $150 to $200 to $600 for. They need to lock that studio up first, and then they need to worry about other studios just because they came out with a really cool and innovative game. Because I'm sorry, Asobo has kind of proved himself, even though a lot of people think that Plague's Tale is kind of just boring when it comes to the second one.
X Abbott in the chat just said something that I completely forgot. So remember, A Plague's Tale Requiem came out.
It was in Game Pass launch.
Yeah, launch. So this is actually
and that's a single player game.
A bigger launch than that game, which I would probably think that maybe 6 months ago, people would have thought it would be the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
Yeah. Now,
I think the Rick and Morty
Asobo's a really good developer. I do agree that they should acquire them. I mean, they're already partnered with them for 10 years on Microsoft Flight Simulator. You might as well just go ahead and lock that up. The Plague's Tale games are really good, even though I kind of feel so far Innocence was better than Requiem, but I haven't finished Requiem, so I can't really say that definitively yet.
Right.
But I mean, let's get back to the point. What are you've played High on Life, so what are your impressions of the game so far?
This game is annoying.
Annoying how?
It's okay. Listen. Okay, so the game is fun. I liked the combat's hit or miss. I like certain parts of the combat. It's very hit or miss. I think I pointed this out to you last week in some of the gameplay. I like how when they want to show off the personality of your gun when you're using it, he just holds it a certain way. He holds it like he's cradling an apple so he can talk. And then when he's walking around and he's holding it like tight grip, like he's holding a pistol or something. I think that's really cool, like how they separated that. But this game is freaking annoying. First of all, the character is, it's meant to be this way, but they're very over the top, and you definitely need to tone that down a little bit. Just because I don't.
But that's the style. That's the.
It is the style.
Have you ever watched? You ever watched Rick and Morty?
Oh yeah. Well, listen. I even listened to. I don't know if you ever listened to the. I forget the name of the court case where they actually dubbed it with the voice actors from Rick and Morty. With the guy that was where the judge was going off on the guy in the courthouse. I have to send you the link to it. It's really, really good. But it's like, it's really cool because I like Rick and Morty. But Lord, man, it's like, wow, it's like, it makes you laugh. I'm enjoying it. I just think it's too much in certain parts of it. But I think in general, the combat's not good enough for the type of game that you're actually playing. Like, it's enjoyable. You're only doing it because it's like one of those things you're turning your brain off just to enjoy the banter more in the game than the actual gameplay itself. And that is kind of like a little bit of a turn off. But like I said, it works because the overall vibe of the game is fun because of the interactions you have with the different characters. Like, the knife always wants to stab people. It's freaking incredible. And I laugh every time it happens. But I just don't think the gameplay holds up long term.
Let's talk about that. So I had a tweet earlier today, right? Now look, I've been playing the game. I don't know how many hours in. I'm on the 4th bounty at this point. So people who have been playing the game probably can figure out how many hours I've been playing by that. Now, I'm not a huge Rick and Morty fan, but I don't mind Rick and Morty. So like, I think I may have watched like the first season, and I was in the middle of the second season when I said I'll get back to this and just forgot to get back to it. So you could like, it's like I get the humor. I think it's funny, but it's not like my favorite. So you can probably tell how I feel about like the humor in this game. Like, every now and then I catch myself laughing at something that happens or is said, but a lot of the times I'm just like, yeah, okay, or please finish the dialogue. But other times I find myself like really laughing like heartily at certain things. Like, I think the parts coming up here in the gameplay where you're like impersonating a worker at this factory and you're doing paperwork, and the boss comes out and you do a really good job, and he's like I'm not gonna say everything he says because clearly like the language is just it's a little much for us, you know. Here this is a family program, but it was hilarious, and I laughed like really hard from that. But it's like those moments are kind of like far in between. What really got people upset at me today is that I've been seeing a lot of people, and I think this is something, this always tends to happen when there's a game that's like a timed exclusive for a console, that people can't just say the game's fun and leave it at that. People just can't just say, oh, I'm having a good time with this game and it's great, I think other people should play it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or because also people can't really admit the game has faults. Like, they'll admit it has faults, but they don't want nobody to talk about the faults.
Right.
And it's like, that's not what constructive criticism is. That's not what accepting constructive criticism is. First of all, you didn't even make the game. So why are you upset that someone has criticism about a game that you like? Like, how old are you? Are you 12? Get over it, right? But so for some reason, me saying that the gunplay is mediocre gets people upset. But I'm gonna keep saying it because it's true. The gunplay is mediocre. And any time people are like, well, you know, when you get the upgrades and you get this, and you get that, and then when you get this gun, the fourth gun you get, it really like, look, sorry, like, gunplay should be, it's the foundation of the game. It's the foundation of a first-person shooter. If it's not good at the very start, it's not good. Doesn't matter how many upgrades you get. It may make it better, but the starting point was mediocre to begin with. So, miss me with all that. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. People are like, oh, well, it's not that kind of shooter. What?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? You're in first-person perspective. Your primary method of attacking the enemies is a gun. So, what I don't say, what are you talking about? Like, that's how first-person shooters play. So, this is, it's very similar to a lot of the things that people will say about Deathloop. Also, people who felt the need to cap for Deathloop because it was made by Obsidian. I'm sorry, not Obsidian. Bethesda's Arcane studio. And because it was made by them and they're owned by Xbox, people decide, oh, now all of a sudden they care about Arcane Studios and their games. Now all of a sudden, even though Arcane has never had great first-person shooting in any of their games, now all of a sudden that's not important. Was that kind of game, Slow-Mo? What kind of game is it? Like, if my primary method of killing enemies is shooting a gun, and that doesn't feel great, if the ADS, I have to turn the sensitivity all the way up to make them get the ADS, the aim down sight to be snappy. If shooting my gun always feels like I'm barely doing any damage, and I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, that is. And so it's like I'm doing all these things and I'm not having fun. It doesn't feel great. That's not great first-person shooting. It's not even good. Now, I'm not saying the rest of the game sucks. I'm not saying that it's not a cool story. It is. I'm not saying it's an ugly game. It's not an ugly game. I actually think some of the biomes are really beautiful with the color palette and all that other stuff. And I'm not really dealing with a ton of bugs either. So I'm really happy about that, especially this year. With this year, it feels like every other game that comes out is just buggy as all get out. So I appreciate those things. But when there is criticism of a game, I mean, the game Metacritic score is like, what, a 60? Like, come on, this ain't a perfect game, bro. Like y'all have to just accept what it is, that the gunplay is not that great. And for me to have to say All I said was, I fully understand people enjoying High on Life because of the humor and its unique nature, but y'all gotta take the cap off when it comes to pretending like the gunplay is anything other than mediocre. And people lost it on me. Got people insulting me. Got people saying, oh, and I'm just like, I had to block a dude earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, y'all gotta do better, man. Y'all got to do better, yo. Like, and the exaggerations. Well, it's not Halo Infinite. Yeah, I know it's not Halo Infinite. I know which game I'm playing. Just because it's not Halo Infinite doesn't mean that I don't have an expectation of good shooting. So I mean, like, what are your thoughts on this, man? I've been talking a lot.
No, well, I mean, you pretty much nailed it all when it comes to that. I just think when it comes to the overall, there's just, like I said, it's just, telling her she can't eat slow-mo. Oh, got you. Yeah, so I do think in general it ultimately comes down to, I just don't think the combat holds up. I think it's like they get you going in so many ways when it comes to the overall aesthetic of the game and stuff, and that's kind of what they lean on the most, and they kind of think that that's going to kind of, you know, make its way through when it comes to the game in general. And I think that will work for a lot of people, but for people that are into the aesthetic of Rick and Morty as much as the rest of people, I think that's where the game falls flat. But I also think people online talking and capping about the game is a completely different subject because there's nothing else to play.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at this like, oh, this game is great, I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it. But if you had something like God of War Ragnarok to play, or something like a Spider-Man, or even a working version of Halo Infinite that came out, would you really even care about this game? Would this game even get the time of day? I think for the fans that love the characters, it's going to be good. I was sold on the first time I saw it. I tried it. I played it. I'm enjoying it, but it's not like this greatest thing that a lot of people are saying it is. I just think that either you're bored and you have nothing else to play, and this game just supplements and it's giving you the itch of something that you didn't have already when it comes to games that you want to play, or you're just, you know, capping just to try to prop up something that's on Xbox and is not on other platforms right now.
Right. And again, like, nothing that I said it wasn't like a fun game to play or anything like that. Like, I'm having fun with the game. It's got an entire crappy 90s movie, like the full movie, Tanny and the T-Rex. I never even heard of this movie until this game, and it's got Paul Walker in it and Denise Richards, funny. And I'm just like, when I saw it, I was like, is that Denise Richards? What? Is that Paul Walker? What is going on? And I literally, next thing I knew, for 30 minutes, I'm just sitting here watching the beginning of this awful movie where two guys start fighting. Paul Walker starts fighting this bully, and then they start grabbing each other's dicks. And they're like, you let go, you let go. And I'm just like, what is happening? I don't understand. But it was hilarious. And it's just like, I look at it, I'm like, that makes sense that they put this in here. It makes sense. But it's just still like, it's so off the wall. But like, I get why people are having fun with it. It's a fun game to play. It's just, if someone says, hey, look, man, look, I'm having fun, gunplay could be better, like, people don't lose your mind because someone said the game's not perfect, because it's not. It's like, there are no perfect games, and this isn't one of them. This is you know, this game doesn't buck that trend either. So yeah. Anything else you want to say about it before we move on? Forte? Uh-oh, did I lose Forte? Forte.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I said yeah. That's it.
Oh, okay. Did you switch mics? Because you sound different now.
I did. My what's the name? I had to switch it out. I'm switching back now.
Okay, all right, cool. I will move on to our kind of like a combination last topic thing we got going on here. Best and worst games of 2022. So, like, you know,
I
this
like
is
how you can notice how my mic changed.
well, I mean, I am a perfectionist when it comes to this podcast and stuff. I try, or at least I try to be. So I notice little things like that, huh?
What about now?
Oh no, you sound normal again.
Normal again? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So no, yeah, crap. What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh yeah.
You were talking about the best and worst games of
yes, best and worst games of 2022. So, and then we're also going to get into our most anticipated game and biggest sleeper of 2023. And you guys in the chat as well can definitely let us know what you guys think, what your best game is and what your worst game is. And we can kind of go from there. But I would say, well, Forte, you can start first. Yes. What is your best game of 2022?
Best game of 2022 was Destiny. No, I'm just talking.
Yeah, you definitely just talking.
I will say, in my opinion, as of right, and I haven't finished it yet, but as of right now, because I didn't play Elden Ring, God of War is still by far, as much as we'll talk about it at the beginning of the year, as much as I have issues with this game in certain parts, I still think it was the best game that came out this year that I personally played, because I think the overall breadth of what they did in this game was amazing, and there was things that I didn't think they would be able to do to make people care about the characters all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I appreciate the most is the fact that they took to heart when a person was like, hey, every mini boss in this game is a troll of a different color. They took that to heart and actually gave us more variety when it came to the enemies that we were facing, because every last one of the realms,
agreed,
they
definitely addressed all the criticisms for the previous game. Yeah,
and that's what I think I cared about the most, so that's what's making me still truck through it. You know,
I would say they didn't even have a lot of criticisms from the first game, but they still and there are a lot of studios that would be like, shoot, we want Game of the Year. We ain't changing anything.
They rest on their morals, and that's
laurels,
one thing
not their morals.
Laurels. Yeah, laurel.
They rest on their morals. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, they did that. So I really appreciate that when it comes to the best game for me of this year. Oh man, the worst game. So the worst game. Did I really play a terrible game though?
Well, don't do worst game yet.
Okay, that's the best game. That's my best game of the year. We'll do it in turns.
All right, my best game of the year is Elden Ring.
I bet.
I spent 450 some hours in that game. Created 4 characters, beat the game 4 times, like 100+ hours for each character. It's that game. That game took over like the first 3 months of the year for me, and I think it was probably partially due to like it being a really solid From Software game, but it was my first time really getting deep into those kind of games, and I just really love the build variety, creating different kind. You know how I am when it comes. If I can create different builds, you can get me hooked playing your game for a long time. And that's something that you can do in Elden Ring, in addition to the challenge of taking on like 150 bosses, even though maybe only like 70 are unique. Other ones are repeats. It's not. I think I did have some issues with the game design. I didn't like how the open world design was more of, even though some people kind of found it refreshing, I do kind of feel like when it comes to multiplayer, not everything has to be some kind of archaic, oh, we're From Software, we're different kind of thing. I'm sorry, like if I just want to invite my friend in, or my friend wants to invite me to play the game, like there's already tools There's already UX games designed with a particular method of UX where like they already have that stuff done where it's easy to just invite people in, and that's that. You don't have to make this big song and dance. Let me raise my severed finger in the air and wave it like I just don't care, and then you put a symbol down at the same grace, and then we combine, and then you could join my world. What the fuck are we doing?
I remember when you was doing that with Luca. Luca was like, you gotta wave your finger in the air.
I was like, what the
like,
frick?
what
What is that? Like, I just hit a button, pull up a menu, and bring you in. Like, why do I have to do all this stupid crap? And it's just, and like they do little things. I know why they do it, because they don't want you to rely on someone else to be able to beat bosses, which is understandable. And they even, like, let's say like Luca was like a good 100 levels like higher than me. They power level the bosses up by the person who has the highest level. So even when like Luca would play with me on my first playthrough, because like she didn't really play with me on my second playthrough. Well, on my first playthrough, even when she would play with me, like I'd be like, Luca, you gotta get up out of here, because we were getting near a boss. Like I'm not doing anything to the boss, and it's like she's fighting the boss, and I'm just like a cheerleader on the sideline. I'm like, nah, you gotta go, because I can't even do damage. And so like I beat a lot of the bosses solo, pretty much all of my bosses solo, except for maybe like not Morgott, whichever the second one was, with the 5 million arms. I think Luca may have fought him with me, but other than that, like everything else is like shot. Yeah. He would hit me 2 times and I would die, and I'm like, this ain't working. So, shout out to Mav in the chat. He said that anybody wanted to stop by and hit that like button. But have a great rest of the show, fellas. All right, appreciate you, Mav. Yeah. What else?
Make sure you go check out the fun speculation group over there. Great
absolutely. Mav does a number of shows on a weekly basis. Check his channel out. They have a good time over there. K Asante in the chat.
Oh Lord!
Gaming Circle podcast. There we go.
Yes, there you go.
On Saturdays at I think 10 a.m. with Everborn Saga. Shout out to him. He's in the chat as well. He said they smell on their own farts too much. I have no idea who he's talking about that's smelling their own farts, but man, they gotta stop that. Oh man! But no, I don't want to harp on. I just say that's the best game of the year, and I'm harping on the issues.
On everything. You're harping on why it shouldn't be.
Despite those things, everything else I think is excellent in the game. I think the art direction is great. I still think Horizon Forbidden West should have won best art direction, but it is great art in the game. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Nothing else came out this year that I enjoyed more. So I think Elden Ring was definitely deserving.
Where do you think Elden Ring falls for you? Because you put a lot of time into it. Where do you think that game falls? Like, we know there's going to be shooters that have higher play times, like, Rogue Company and stuff. Where do you think Elden Ring, just in this 1 year with all the time you put into it, where do you think that game falls in just time played?
Probably like 5th.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit higher. Definitely spent more time in Rogue Company. I did not spend more time in Halo Infinite. And I definitely, actually, maybe 2nd, now that I think about it. Third. I've spent more time in Fortnite and Rogue Company.
Fortnite, yeah.
So those 2 games, yeah.
Your 2 mainstays in the one single player game that you just decided to know life for no reason at all until you found out that Square games are not FromSoft games aren't all janky.
Right. Hey, look. There's some jank in Elden Ring too. Let me not do. Look, we people gonna start thinking like, is this Lomo's worst game of the year? So like, let's just move on. Exactly. So, what's your worst game of the year?
Oh, this is easy. It's not even close. Crossfire X. Crossfire X was the worst game that came out of 2022.
Yeah.
That game was terrible. When it came out in February, dude, I will always remember the date because it was like, oh, we get to play a little Crossfire X before Elden Ring comes out. And Crossfire X, especially with it being super promoted on Xbox and stuff, that thing hit Game Pass and we went to go play that multiplayer. And I was like, ooh.
Yo, I have never played a game so broken. That was my worst game of 2022 as well.
Oh shoot, that's what I'm talking about, man. That game was horrible.
Absolutely terrible. First of all, oh my god, let's break it down. The worst gunplay ever.
Oh my god, terrible.
Okay, so you got Remedy, who has never done a first-person shooter before, and I said this when they was like, "Oh, Remedy's doing the campaign." I'm like, "But Remedy's never done a first-person shooter. Why are y'all happy?"
And then they were like, "Well, Alan Wake had a flashlight in it." I said, "But there's a difference between pointing a flashlight and shooting a gun."
Right. Shout out to Enrique, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, the $2 super chat. He says, "Happy holidays, Forte and Slow Mo. Happy holidays, Enrique. Hope you have a good one."
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy holidays to you too.
Smilegate, the developer, also, Smilegate has never done their game. Like Crossfire X is like Counter-Strike. It's like CS:GO on PC, but the Korean version of it, the Eastern version of it. They've never done that game with controller support. They've never done that game on consoles before. So it was a little bit, clearly, a little bit of a challenge for them to get that done correctly. The game had no aim assist. It had no aim down sight acceleration. It didn't have any of that stuff. And all of it was very inconsistent. Like, you would shoot an enemy. Sometimes you would kill them. Same gun. Sometimes you would kill them in 2 shots. Other times it would be like a magazine and a half. Why? Like, why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then there was only 2 maps, 2 modes, and 2 maps. That's it. Least amount of maps for a first-person shooter I've ever seen. And what was the other issue? Oh, they had this weird like thing where like after you got like a certain amount of kills, you could transform into some weird like monster with dual pistols and just run around and just like soak up all this damage and just like blow everyone away. It was just, what? Like, where is this coming from? Like, it makes no sense. Shout out to Flame with the $2 super chat. He says, actually, worst game this year was Babylon's Fall. That game also was cheeks.
It was literally between. Okay, so I will tell you my reason for saying Crossfire. Probably the same for you. I felt like Babylon was the easy cop because the game is getting literally closed in January. So I think for a lot of people, like, yeah, Babylon 5 is universal. Babylon Falls is like universally going to be one of like the worst game of the year.
They shut the servers down on Babylon's Fall. It's a wrap.
They wrapped it. But Crossfire, yeah, people are still playing that game. Those people, I don't know. Those people must not know.
On Xbox, are they still playing that game?
Yeah, exactly. Are they playing it on Xbox?
Oh, because the game was being played on PC before it came to Xbox, and it's still being played on PC afterwards. So are you saying on Xbox people are still playing that game?
They should. Those people don't know they don't know what Warzone is. That's free.
Play Halo Infinite. Play anything. Play anything else. Sorry, that
game is horrendous, bro. I literally couldn't even make it through a match in that game, and I think, and like I said, I agree with Flame with Babylon, but I just think when I look at that, it was more that, you know, especially me and you, we're really huge fans of shooters, and when there's a shooter that comes out and disappoint, it's like, you know, it's just like if a Killzone game came out, I would be disappointed if it didn't play good because it's a shooter. So
Babylon's Fall is like the new Lawbreakers. You remember how bad Lawbreakers launched, and that game, that's the only other game I could think of where people were like, "Yo, it's like 3 people playing this game on Steam right now." And Babylon's Fall had like one guy on there.
One guy keeping the server open.
He's just looking around like, man, someone's gonna come in here any second now. I know it. Someone's gonna come. No one's coming, bro.
And then everybody with the Radical Heights.
Good grief, man.
Oh my God.
So that's our best and worst of 2022.
Yep.
What is your most anticipated game of 2023?
Oh, easy. Legend of Zelda. All day, every day. Yes. Kingdoms, here we come, baby. Kingdoms, here we come. Listen, I understand that, people, Xbox and PlayStation and Spider-Man 2 and Redfall and Starfield, but I'm sorry. Tears of the Kingdom? Oh, man. Listen, I can't wait for that game to come out. It's already paid off. Can't wait for that game to come out. I will buy the collector's edition, just like I did for Breath of the Wild. Hopefully they give me a new case that came it came with a carry case in the last collector's edition. I still use that carry case to this day on my Switch because it's so amazing and beautiful. I hope they do it again so I can just switch my pre-order over and get another collector's edition because I love Zelda and this game has the opportunity of being the biggest fail or the biggest thing ever. And guess what? Either way, I'm in for it because I can't wait for this game, Slow-Mo. That is literally going to be the game of 2023 right there. You already know it's one game of the year. You already know it's one game of the year too, Slow-Mo.
Oh yeah, I already know that because Nintendo, Zelda just it gets a pass every single time. No game that comes out this year should expect to win game of the year. It's going to be Zelda. It is what it is. Ain't none of us seen any gameplay longer than 5 seconds of the game, but we all know what's going to happen.
Blade X, the Switch is garbage. Zelda is not garbage. The Switch is garbage, but the Switch can play something like a Zelda game, and I can play it on the go.
No, I think you were right the first time. Zelda is both of them garbage as far as I'm concerned. But let me not.
God, you're such a hater.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. My most anticipated game. It's kind of a tie right now, but I think it's a slight edge. Slight edge to Spider-Man 2 for me. As you know, I really love Spider-Man. Back in 2018, that was my game of the year, and Miles Morales was awesome. Really enjoyed Miles Morales. I can't wait for Spider-Man 2. Can't wait to see Insomniac just do it again. Just really wow everyone with great combat and a really good story. I can't wait to see where they kind of take the story this time. I also want to see them kind of really get rid of the Mary Jane missions, hopefully, and and really hopefully find a way to make Peter's combat even more dynamic and than it was previously, because I kind of feel like Miles's versatility and powers and the way they implemented it makes him so much more fun to play. They gotta really kind of push Peter beyond that, and I think they can. It's just I just can't wait to see. So that's my most anticipated game. My 1B is Fire Emblem Engage, which comes out next month. I can't wait for that.
Next month, baby.
I
play it on the Switch. You gonna play it on your Steam Deck.
What you think?
I'm just asking. I want to hear you say it.
I'm playing it on the more superior platform.
But you're gonna own it on the Switch, though.
Yes, I will buy it for the Switch.
There we go. That's
and
all
it will stay in plastic.
And Nintendo will still get your money. That's
right. That's it. I'm not stealing games.
As long as Nintendo still get the money, that's all we care about here.
All right. What is your biggest sleeper of 2023?
So this one is really good. And
this is going to be a hard one. Yeah.
For me is easy but it's a little left off, out of right field for a lot of people, because we don't really talk about it as much. I have always been a huge sports person. Sports have died for me. I still play NBA with Diller and stuff from time to time, But I'm a huge football person. I love football. And the fact that NCAA football is coming back next year after not being here for 8 years because of the whole NIL name, name, image, and likeness, and that deal finally came through. I am super excited to see them actually push the boundary and make people excited to play football games again. Because let's be for real, Madden is utter trash. It's been trash ever since NCAA football stopped being a thing, because they always use NCAA as the test bed to make all the new features for Madden. And if they worked in NCAA, which 90% of the time it did, they would implement that stuff in Madden. Now that they don't have that test bed to do it with NCAA, we're just basically getting rinse and repeat of all the different features that they gave you in Madden. And that's why people are tired of Madden. So I know that's not the thing that everybody's super excited. But for me, I've always been a huge college fan, college over NFL all day. So the fact that that game is finally coming out in 2023, I am looking forward to what they're going to do with that game in the future. And there's no other game even close to that game for me, because that can literally fix an entire genre of games. If they hit the mark right on that game, football can actually be a relative thing that we can actually play. I might actually get Slow-Mo to buy a Madden game then if they actually do it right. Say, hey Madden, let's go play that game that just played on TV.
Nope.
Yo, Redskins.
Nope.
with Caleb Henney at quarterback.
If Taylor Heineke's at quarterback next year, I'm gonna be really angry.
But that's my sleeper right there, because I do think that it has the opportunity to make football games better. Because let's be for real, it's been pretty trash out here when it comes to that type of game.
This is true. I'm kind of at odds with what my sleeper is for next year. There's two games that I think are going to be games that I think people should definitely look out for and might end up being like really, really good. So one of them is a game that people were really excited for when they first saw it. And it's the name. It's it was, you know what? I can't remember the name.
Can't remember his name, Slow-Mo.
Because it's a game kind of came out of nowhere, but it's I'll do the other one first. Oxenfree 2. Oxenfree, cool. Yeah, Oxenfree was made by Night School Studio, and they just were recently acquired by Netflix. Netflix is really getting big into gaming. They got like, in the course of like a year and a half, they went from 0 to like 4 studios. So they and Next School Studio is probably their most experienced, which really isn't saying much. They've only made like 3 games, but Oxenfree is their most popular game. I think they're the best game they ever made, and the sequel is something that I've been looking forward to for a while. And I think if you haven't played the first Oxenfree, it's dirt cheap because it's a little bit older. But it's an awesome story, really awesome game. I always recommend it, and I think if you give it a shot, it's the kind of game that you'll come away from it and be like, oh, that was really good. I just remembered the name of the other game. The other game is Atlas Fallen. So I saw the trailer for that, and they briefly showed some gameplay after the trailer, and it looked really good. So I think Atlas Fallen might be a game that might really pique people's interest and be a game that people are like really excited for when it comes out. I would say the first Descendant, which is a looter shooter that I played in beta, in alpha this year. And because it was an alpha this year, it will almost kind of seem like more than likely it will be coming out next year, but I don't know what the release date is on that one. It's like it's a Korean, made by a South Korean studio. It is a mix of Destiny, of Anthem, and of and it's It's another looter. There's Outriders.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Outriders.
Yeah, but it's fun. I really enjoyed it, and even after the alpha was over and I couldn't play it no more, I was really kind of like, man, I wish First Descendant was still open right now so I could play it. It was that good. So those are, I know I said one game, but I said three, but so what? Those I think are my sleepers for next year. Did anyone in the chat say anything? Oh my gosh, Hades 2.
How did you forget that?
How did I forget that?
Because you were still in shock that they actually did it.
That's my most anticipated game. Forget Spider-Man 2. Hades 2. Most anticipated game next year.
I remember when they showed that trailer, you said this looks like Hades. It is Hades.
Yes, Flame, Oxenfree 2 is next year. Flame also says Atomic Heart. I'm definitely looking forward to Atomic Heart. Rodman says his sleeper is Replace. Replace looks awesome.
Yeah, that's what actually does look a really cool game.
Yeah.
RE4. I think RE4 is going to be it for a lot of people.
Yeah. Flame says Digital Extremes, who does Warframes, their Wayfinder is going to be great. They co-developed that. That one's that one looks interesting. It's not really my kind of game, but it looks interesting. But I mean, we're pretty much that's all the topics we got right now. I am so glad that we got another year in the books, man.
I know, man. It's been a wild ride, man, and I think in general, I just want to say thank you to. Right now, we got 38 here. I just want to say thanks to you guys because you guys have stuck with us all the way through, and we're just going to keep iterating and doing more and more things to try to bring more and more eyes to the podcast and stuff. But the one thing we can always count on is, you guys coming through and supporting us in the way you do, and we appreciate that a lot. And the last 3 years almost wouldn't be 2.5 years would not be what they are. It wouldn't be what it is without you guys, and we really, really appreciate that.
Blade X's sleeper is Project Yams, aka Stellar Blade. And Rob the Don sleeper is Redfall, which I'm looking forward to both of those games.
I think Redfall, if you want to say of all of the AAA games that a lot of people are wanting to see what's going on, I think that does have the potential of being the one game that really does more than what people think it's going to do. Did you just knock down a whole house?
Sure did.
It just leveled the house.
Yeah, man. That's like my guilty pleasure in Fortnite is so that now they got augments. So like,
yeah, I see that.
And like the augment that I have in this match here is that anytime I jump in a vehicle, it gets automatically souped up. So I automatically pimp the ride out with like the best tires and the cow catcher on the front to destroy everything in front of me. I get that, and I just like running, like destroying homes and running through like factories and stuff. It's fun. But no, go ahead, man.
No, I was saying we need to jump into Fortnite when I see. Shout out to Cat Daddy up there. The one thing I'm looking forward to is outside of seeing all your wonderful faces again next year is the homie Cat Daddy Lurk and his contribution to the fam that's going to happen in the middle of January. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I am dreading that stream so much.
I great. What you got in 4 hours?
5
hours.
5 hours of Dead Space remake. I am not looking forward to that.
Guess what? That's about a good 40%, 30 to 40% of the game.
That's the only
5 hours.
Well, that's all you getting out of me.
You might as well go ahead and finish that game when you do it.
You might as well forget it because I'm not.
Unless somebody else drops down another $100 super chat to make it safe for you finish the rest of it. I know I'm just putting it out there. Ain't
yeah, because you pull it back. How about that? Just pull it back. No, look. I'm definitely going to fulfill the the channel
challenge.
membership request. So it's gonna get done. I just don't care for it getting
You
it
just don't
done.
know why people want to see him struggle, but
Yeah.
that's the reason people want to see him struggle and complain
Yeah.
and jump scares.
Masochists out here, man.
The only thing that would make this better is if you could be on camera while you did it.
That also ain't gonna happen.
That would be the well, I know that can't happen, but that would be the only thing that would make this challenge better.
I for me, I would say the things that I'm looking forward to next year is I'll freely admit, and I apologize to everybody that has subbed to the channel, not for look, I get some people will sub for a channel for a podcast, and I know a lot of you guys love DPS that's listening, and a lot of people may have subbed to my channel for the other content that I do, or I would say used to do more frequently, and I apologize for not keeping up with that. And if people felt disappointed and decided to, just give up on expecting that kind of content from me, I fully understand, because after my Elden Ring review in March, I really just didn't upload much of anything, as far as like just uploaded, video edited kind of content that I used to do all the time, like 2 to 3 times a week. It just got a lot going on for me personally, professionally, and being able to, and maybe this is just me, but I take being a content creator seriously, and when I make videos, like I probably have a good dozen videos that I made in that time frame that I completed and almost uploaded, but I just didn't really believe in the videos. Like I didn't think they didn't have to be of the same quality as my Elden Ring review, but I just didn't feel like they weren't up to the standard that people expected. So I'm getting back into the swing of things. My creative juices is flowing. There's stuff I'm working on. There's stuff that's going to be out before the new year starts. So look forward to that. But I'm getting back into it. I apologize for not really kind of like talking about it more freely. I wouldn't call it like a writer's block or anything, or a creative block, but I kind of feel like where I wanted to do with the channel, the kind of content I wanted to do with the channel has evolved from where it was, where I would kind of do the kind of stuff that other people do, where they would do like gaming news updates kind of stuff and then add their opinion into it, and which is like, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but I never want to be just another channel, like I want when people think about my channel, they think about something that you can't get anywhere else. Now you're not going to get my opinion anywhere else, because clearly like a lot of people disagree with half my opinions.
You ain't gonna get that opinion nowhere else.
Right, but the format is everyone does it, and so I want people to feel like they get something different from my channel, and so that's the kind of stuff that I'm working on. And it's going to be more of along the line of like game analysis and review, like really comprehensive kind of reviews that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else, in addition to a couple other like informative things, like whole the black hair video. I'm working on a follow-up to that, because there's been some games that have come out since then I think that have are worthy of bringing up, because they're definitely upholding the kind of standard that we expect from next generation, and there's some other ones that need to be called out for their foolishness. So all that stuff is still being in the works. Go ahead.
I will tell you, I will say this, because I fall into the same thing when it comes to the content creation bubble. Especially, and I think I never told you this before, because you do make amazing content when you do it, and I have the same thing. I struggle from that little, it seems like writer's block, where you just don't know what the next thing is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once you decide on what you want to do, and this basically goes back to even the people in the chat, once you decide to do something, kind of just do it and keep doing it, and until you get just for repetition. And then once you get the repetition in, you kind of see what your audience is, or what your or just in games, just keep, like, it works with games. Like if you find a bunch of games that you think you like, just try them, and then you might find something, a gem in a genre that you might like or love. When it comes to content creation, once you make something, consistently just keep making it until you either A, don't want to do it no more, or B, you find an audience of people that are willing to support something like that, to the point where you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to do this, and keep doing it and keep doing it. And I think the one thing that I wish you would have did after the Elden Ring thing, instead of letting it sit for a while, I think you should have just went into like build guys into Elden Ring, because at that point you already got the Elden Ring, you got that Elden Ring, the other people watching you, because that thing blew up.
Yeah.
And then just make builds and stuff in Elden Ring.
It's funny because I almost started doing that with Cyberpunk when Edge Runners came out, and then
you should have.
I actually have an entire Edge Runners build video that's completed, showing people how to build one of the Edge Runner, like an Edge Runner character from like with all the abilities that you see from the anime on Netflix. And I was like, do I really want to be this kind of channel?
Well, it's not even about being that kind of channel. It's not about being that.
Here's the thing is that like
think about it like this. You tried it with Rogue. I just think you got on fat too. You didn't get in early enough, or you didn't stay consistent enough with Rogue Company, because I think you kind of just waited a little too long. And it's the biggest thing with the same thing was with me with Destiny. Like, I noticed a long time ago that yes, Xbox content does well on my channel, but if I drop a Destiny video and I put time into it, it's gonna 3-4 times anything I do for Xbox, because it's easy for me to do because I'm playing the game so much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to pick up and just get video footage for it, or some new thing happens in the game and talk about it. And next thing I know, I look up 3 days later, the video's got 40,000 views. Yeah. Because I'm playing the game. And with Elden Ring, as much as you put into it, even if it's something that you do for a short time, you do build videos for like 2 months on the game. Next thing you know, you got a genre, like an amount of people that want to come to you for games like that. It makes it easy. And then guess what? You may be kind of stressed to want to go say, you know what's another game like this I could play? I didn't play Sekiro. Let me go try this game and get builds in this game and get my opinions on this, because then at that point,
I don't want to do that kind of content though.
I know you don't want it, but it's the thing, you're building. Okay, just think about it like this.
I'm not into doing any content. No, Forte, no. I'm not into doing any content that I wouldn't want to watch.
Oh well, no. If you're
that's how I feel. It doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter if it's like, I'm not saying anything that I was I was working on was like bad or low quality. It's just like, if I wouldn't want to watch my own content, why would I expect anyone else to?
This is the thing. Do you look at stuff like so you don't look at builds and stuff like
that?
No,
I make my own builds. But okay, I do know there is a market in YouTube for that, where people like, but I'm more in the camp of, I don't want to like show my builds, because that's how builds get nerfed. Because if it gets popular, then the devs go, oh man, that's like OP.
It's gonna get nerfed anyway.
Well, no. Look, I had builds in the Division that never got nerfed.
Yeah, but
because I never was out here like, hey guys, here's how you get 1 million headshot damage. Like, no, I kept that to myself and I bodied people.
You know what though, Slow-Mo? That's because your build, yes, it may have been super strong, but there was another one out there that was really, really strong. And that just happened to get nerfed because people made videos on it.
Yes, and so that's why I didn't do build videos on my theory crafted, my build videos, like my build stuff. I just don't want to do it.
The game to be just broken for him and no one else.
Who wouldn't? Look, if that's selfish, look,
you want to be a god in the video game.
I'm a gamer. I am a gamer before a content creator. I would say that. So like, I did not stop playing games, but I didn't do as much content creation this year as I used to. So you can say that for certain, that like Slow Mo absolutely was playing games instead of thinking on the kind of videos that he wanted to put out, that he felt comfortable putting out. Like I said, I could probably start a second channel with the number of videos that I made, and then I just put them on my external storage for content creation.
That's what I'm thinking. Like most people, you shouldn't do, like, I think everybody has, if you're going to put time, I feel like if you're going to put time into a game, especially if you do YouTube, if you're going to put time into it, you should make things about that game, because you're basically doing it for free now. Might as well find a way to get some monetary gains and some following off of that. And even if you did a second channel, don't think about it. Even if you did it, and Flame just said it in his chat. He just said in the chat. He said that's why I cover Warframe so much. I just do unusual foolishness. Think of it, and said this might make a neat article, and I'll do it. It's like you don't even. It's not like you say you put like a lot of effort into it. You say you're already doing it. So if I'm doing this quest, what's the more efficient way to do this quest? What way did I figure out how to do this quest faster than maybe anybody else? Or maybe just the fact that you just wanted to show people the quickest way to do it. Because guess what? You made a video. What was that video that you made? I forget the name, but you did it in the game and it got like the most views on your channel at first.
In Borderlands. Yeah, but let's see, like, Forte, I'm not at a place where I'm like, I don't really know what to make. I know what to make now. I'm just trying to explain to people why there was a dearth of uploaded content. And to K's point, K said he likes to hear my slander while he's eating lunch at work. The lunchtime with Slow Mos will continue. I don't want anyone to think that's not continuing. That kind of got put on the wayside as things got busier with work. So I wasn't really able to dedicate 2 hours of my time, my lunch break to doing that. But that's changing, especially now that things are slowed down at work, and will be slow until probably about February. So that's gonna ramp back up, and I'll probably get into actual schedule for it so that people could know when to expect it. So don't worry, Kay. That's lunchtime with Slow Mo ain't going nowhere. But I'm talking about more just like the uploaded content stuff, like where you spend a good 5, 6, 7 hours working on a video to tackle a particular topic and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's getting worked on and will be coming real soon.
Yeah, I just want you to make it. That's it. I just want you to make content, because no matter what it is, I just enjoy your perspective. Even if it's a game that I don't particularly care about, I just like your particular viewpoint on just games in general. So whatever I'm gonna enjoy anyway. So and I think that's where a lot of people come from. They don't really care. I have people that don't watch my Destiny videos, but they'll come through and just drop a comment on it and say, yo, this was a good video, man, or just keep up the good work, just wanted to show you some love. And they probably don't support it, but they support us.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and you're still, it's not going to be all like full on game analysis like Joseph Anderson kind of stuff or reviews, because like
make a video this year.
Who, Joseph Anderson?
Did he make a video this year?
He made a video 8 months ago. It's got like 5 million views.
He good for the year.
You're right. But like if you look at his Witcher stuff, he spent like 500 hours on all the Witcher games, to get his like 5-hour video on Witcher analysis. Like I'm not putting that kind of work in, but I'm putting
it's on something like that is.
Yeah. But no, what was I about to say? Yeah, I'm not doing like game news, kind of like oh, there's a new break in the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Let me go talk. I'm not doing that, but I will be talking about.
I thought something happened for real.
No. I'm like no. I was saying I was using the example. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I was
but
say, wait a minute, what happened?
But I will be doing stuff like just kind of like tackling certain topics like skill-based matchmaking. You know, like breaking that down, how that actually works, why people don't like it, why there are people who support it, that kind of stuff. Like that's the kind of things that I'll be working on. So that's what, long story short, you know, because we just spent about 10 minutes on this. That's what the kind of things that I'm working on. And you should expect from the channel in the future. So I do appreciate everybody that has subscribed. I appreciate everybody that has watched, even if you only watched a video or this podcast for like 5 seconds. I appreciate you for coming through, giving us a shot. Your support's well appreciated. Shout out to all the 10%ers. You guys are freaking awesome people, even Erodimus. And you have no idea how much we appreciate you guys' support. Shout out to One Bad Mother, who I like to call One Bad Insider. He hates that, but it's true. With the $5 super chat, he says, "Happy holidays, friends. Forte. As soon as my son gets his Christmas money, we'll be visiting you soon."
Yeah. Okay. What, as soon as you get that Christmas money, I'll be there to take it. All of it. Because he's going to buy everything in the store with that Christmas money. I already know what's going to happen. And then One Bad's going to spend some of his money too.
yeah, he definitely is. But let's get up out of here, man. Forte, go ahead and do your outro for 2022, man.
Yeah, man. Well, like I said earlier, man, I really appreciate everybody that supports us. I really appreciate just the overall ability to be able to have a platform to be able to just talk games with not even one of the closest person I have in this community, with Slow-Mo, and I really appreciate that too. So the only thing I ask is continue to keep doing what everybody's doing. Enjoy the games that you're playing. Spend time with your families. If you're anywhere near the what is this? We consider the northeastern side of the country. Be safe because weather is no joke. And I really appreciate everybody. And Slow-Mo, I can never tell you enough how much I appreciate you for not only the friend you are, just the man you are, and everything else that you do that comes along with that. And I appreciate everything about you too. So with that, happy holidays to everybody. Have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, and have a good week.
Yep. On Forte's channel, that is. Episode 115 will be on there in 2 weeks. That's going to be, let me take a look at the calendar. That is January 5th.
Yep.
So we'll be back then. Next week we're taking off. We're gonna be spending time with family and probably playing some games. So hope you guys are able to do the same. Forte, appreciate this all the work you put in with this year, man. We've been doing good, man. I really been enjoying it, man. And next year's gonna be even better. I already know it. But we're getting up out of here. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your year, and of course, play games. Peace.
And buy a Nintendo Switch.
Don't buy a Steam Deck.
or that. Peace.
Yeah, peace. Eyes of Guardian.
Wipe yourself off, man. You did.